add romance into romantic suspense. We want to give tips for new writers on how to add romance into romantic suspense. So, who wants to go first? Nobody wants
well, you're talking to suspense writers. That's
just okay. Patty wants to go first. Patty's raising her hand. We'll let Patty go first.
My thought was the meeting. So you have to, in the first chapter, you have to have them meet, and you have to show some kind of a way to get them interested in each other, even though there might be where they don't like each other at first, but you still have to show interest.
Have to have the meeting, the meet and greet.
Yeah.
Even in romantic suspense. And usually meet and greet, there's always some tension between the two. You obviously don't want to bring, my tip is you don't want to bring the two people together too quickly. You've got to have something that kind of keeps them apart. Yes, they're attracted. Yes, you got to make it a little, like they like each other, but you got to have something that keeps them apart until the end of the book.
Right.
You're not talking physically though, right? You're talking like emotionally.
Emotionally, yes. No, physically they need to be together in the book.
I've got one. The one I'm writing right now, she's a widow, and so she doesn't want to.
There you go.
Called right away.
Right.
The one I'm writing right now, he closed her father's murder case, and so she resents him for that. She resents him for closing her murder case, so she doesn't want anything to do with him. That's what's keeping them apart in my book. What else? Who else has got one?
I've got how to build attraction. And if you think about it, what's the first thing you look at? Obviously, their physical appearance, are they muscular or is she shapely? But there's more to it. So an attraction can also come from maybe his take charge attitude, and she likes that, or her independent personality. He may like that. Some men and women are attracted to high-spirited, self-reliant mates or opposite sex or whatever. Maybe his quick thinking saves her from the mad dog, or the way he feels himself under stress.
Something to attract them. I like a nice smile. My heroines and heroes always have great smiles in the books, because that's what attracts me to somebody, is when they smile and they just welcome you. It just welcomes you right in. Okay.
And I think that you have to keep that going throughout the whole book. And so I think it's important that every time your two characters are what I call on stage, when they're on the page together, they both have to be very aware of the other person. Like everything that person, and it's not just the physical attraction, but everything that person says or does, or like you said, the way they react to things or their sense of humor. But even then there's the physical things like their smells and, just everything like that. Just, they're constantly just very aware of that other person. You can just feel that tension and attraction.
Right. I always like to describe the person, like say if I'm in the male point of view, I like to see his description of her, or vice versa.
Yeah. Right. And, what are those qualities that stand out to them about that person? Yeah.
I think I would just add about, how you pace and put in the romance, is that it has to be done realistically.
Right.
Not like too fast and too rigid or anything like that. It's got to be organic, and it's got to be realistic for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Then how do you attract your characters together?
Y'all are not even talking about any kissing. I'm like, are you even?
Go to the kissing.
Well, yeah.
Go to the kissing.
Okay, let's talk kissing.
No, I'm teasing. No, I have a lot of I especially going to what Darlene was saying. I am very aware of building in some kind of past with these characters to make it a little bit more realistic that they could fall this quickly. I try to have something that has happened before the book began that gives us reason to think that these two people could actually connect as fast as, because most suspense books take place over a fairly short period of time. So there has to be some reason to believe that these two know each other and have something going on. Now, with that said, I met my husband when I was 19, and I could have told you if you had asked me, and I would have been honest with you, which I would not have been because that was silly. But I knew a month after I met him that I was going to marry him. So I'm not really opposed to the concept of something happening quick and the characters being sure. But I know that most people, that's a hang up if it happens too fast.
I love a good reunion story anyway.
So I do tend to have either where they've worked together before, but they've never acted on their feelings, or they knew each other in the past. So in Unknown Threat, the book that comes out in March, they work for 2 different agencies, but they've worked together on things like fundraisers and things like that the law enforcement community has done together. So they know each other and they have worked together in the past. They've just never gone beyond that. So that at least there was a little bit of something. And like you're saying, they have reason. He hates the FBI because he blames them for something. Won't say what. Spoilers. But he hates the FBI, and she's not a big fan of him either. It's definitely not a we're crazy about each other from page 1 kind of book. But they know each other and they respect each other professionally, and that has a lot to do with it. And then I'm a big fan of the interrupted kiss. Like yes. You think they're going to, and then somebody calls or something happens, and then they have to deal with the attraction that led them to almost kiss this person who they maybe claim they don't like or whatever, but nothing actually happened until later, which is always fun. And I like for them to have, I like my male characters to be men. I want them to be strong. I want them to be respectful of women. I want them to not in a, because I typically am writing, law enforcement type men. If they're interacting with women who are in the same field, I want them to respect their abilities, what they can do, and not be condescending or anything like that. But I also want them to, if they're not on the job, open the door or do something, show some respect and some chivalry and some that, just a little something that he's thinking about her in a different way to all of his coworkers and that kind of thing. So I'm the one I'm writing right now, they're holding hands a lot and I'm loving it. I don't know. I was like, oh my word. And it's sweet, it's just very it's innocent, but it's also it's just that little extra connection, and I'm really enjoy that. Personally, I have no problem with there being lots of romance and romantic suspense, and I know not everybody feels that way, but I like it. So I like for my romance to be about half of it.
I like it to be, I'm not steamy, like,
we got you, Shannon. We got you.
I know what you mean.
I like a good romantic heat throughout a suspense book. I'm the same way.
And there's lots of levels of that. There's lots of levels that
there is different levels.
You can just look at somebody, or just a hand brushes, their hand, or they, opening the door for somebody. And there's a lot of, it's all culminating and leading up to that amazing kiss. But there's lots of different things you can sprinkle in before you get to that point. So,
did we have a kiss question or kiss tip? A kiss tip?
I don't know. I think when you're writing the suspense piece, as inspirational authors, sometimes we try to avoid some of the more physical pieces. And I think you can still do it because that's kind of what happens. You have a physical reaction. And so I don't think we should ignore that. So when you have that first kiss or that almost kiss, what's that physical reaction to it? You don't have to go, over there in Shannon's steamy part. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But, you don't have to take it too far. It's just there. We can't ignore the fact that it's human nature. There is a physical reaction. Right. It's just how far you take it.
Right.
Well, and that
And
would
some
be
of
a
that's
great
publisher
place.
specific too.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Dana.
I was just saying that some of that too, when you get into those situations, that's a good place also to kind of layer in the faith element.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, because honestly, in today's day, what is holding them back from going too far?
Yeah.
It's their faith
Mhm.
and their beliefs.
Yes.
And but I was going to say along with that, you also have to be careful because I love romance. I mean, I would not write anything without romance in it because that's what I read. I have to have my happy ending. But you also have to be careful that when you're putting that romance in there, that you're putting in, you're not slowing the pace by like having them going on a date or, you know, they've still, it's romantic suspense. There's still got to be that edge that, you know, we've got to be careful. Something's coming to get us.
They got to
So
fall
you
in
gotta be
love while they're in
careful how-
danger, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Got to fall in love while they're in danger.
Listen, we're in danger.
I'm gonna move to Virginia because I know she loves romance in her suspense books. Not.
Ooh, I love it. I love the romantic part. I don't, you know, I love suspense, but I love romantic suspense. But to me, that is the hardest part to write. Now I can kill somebody all day long. Let me just kill them.
I'm with you, sister. Yep.
But weaving that romantic part in, that's to me the hardest part. And that's usually like the last part of what I do is add all those little emotions. But in order to keep it going, you know, I rely on my conflicts to really keep them, are they, aren't they kind of thing. You know, that's why I got to pull those conflicts in. Something that's, you know, they want to be together, but there's something that's keeping them apart, like conflict that they're going to have to get past. So even when they're starting to feel those feelings, you know, they still have that thing that's going to be like, wait, let's slow this. Do I really want to take this step?
Great discussion, you guys, on romance and this romantic month. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.